What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Retro Hoop Collectibles. This is our weekly PSA update on how many cards they graded last week. If you're new to this series, I do it every Wednesday, 6 p.m. Video comes out, and it is going over how many cards PSA graded the previous week. So this is going to be as of January 2nd. From December 26th to January 2nd, from Sunday to Sunday. And those of you who were with me on the live stream Sunday got to get a sneak peek on the numbers. We played a little game, a little guess 'em game. So if you want to see the numbers a little earlier, then I encourage you to join the live stream. At some point during the live stream, I'll do it. Before we get into that, if you have not already, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, share with your friends, all this good stuff. Like I said, I do this every Wednesday if you want to keep up with the number. I'm doing this because they still have my cards, and I want to know how many cards they're doing, and I am fully invested in them hurrying up the process of grading so that I can get my cards back as soon as possible. So, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bells, all that good stuff. I do this every Wednesday. This video comes out. So let's jump right into the numbers. I'm on a mission to try to make these videos shorter and shorter because there really isn't a whole lot to talk about. We kind of know what's going on. So surprisingly, this month between Christmas and New Year, which was really interesting, they did 167,000 cards. On average about 33,000 a day if we're looking at a 5-day work week. But what's interesting here is that between the 19th and the 26th, they only did 112,000 cards, which was their second lowest ever since I've been monitoring this number, since way back in April is when I started doing this. The lowest week by far, which I would have thought between Christmas and New Year, which is kind of that end-of-year purgatory, as I like to refer to it. Nobody's really working during that time unless you're working. But between Christmas and New Year should just be an overall holiday because nobody really should be working during that time. But they kicked it back up to the average. Now, I say the average because prior to the Christmas, New Year, or the Christmas break, if I'm looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6... about an average of 177,000 if I don't include this really bad month here. If I include this bad month, it's about 167,000, which is exactly what they did. So they're between 100 and right now, if I look at a 6-week average, they're doing about 160,000 cards a week is what it looks like. If we're running that average. Now, if I do an average overall, let's see, let's go all the way back. It's about 160,000 is what it comes out to. If I look at the last 3 weeks, about 150. The last 6 weeks is 160. And then the last 9 weeks, about 168. So it seems that sweet spot of 160, 170,000 is where they're settling into after some massive swings up and down over the last couple of weeks. 120 right after Thanksgiving. But 210 right before Thanksgiving, and then in the 180s, and then the 200s, and the 170s, and the 160s. So, excuse me, they're kind of averaging out there, about 160 to 170,000 cards a week, and it seems like that's their pace. I don't think they're gonna get any higher than that. They may peak some weeks, they may bottom out some other weeks. I really don't expect them to bottom out this far ever again. Going forward, there really isn't any massive holidays coming up where I feel this number is going to be a number again that we're going to see, unless they continue having some issues with COVID shutdowns and stuff like that. There may be some of that still involved. Obviously, this Omicron variant is wreaking havoc. It wreaked havoc here at my house, so that would be the only reason I would say we're ever going to see these numbers again. But we should hover around that 160, 170,000 cards a week. What that means for us in total, in terms of their total backlog and how much of that is getting chewed up, who knows? They just opened up services again for regular at $100. I don't know what that's doing to their backlog, but I don't know. We'll just have to see. I'm not exactly sure that we'll see that play out in these numbers, right? In terms of like, oh, well, they opened up regular services, so now these overall numbers are going to go down, because we don't know of this 167,000. There's no telling how much of this was old backlog and how much of it is new backlog. Now, let PSA tell the story, and it's, equals that times 0.2. 33,000 of this was new, and then the other 130,000 of it was backlog stuff, because apparently they're working 80% of their grading capacity is being put towards getting through the backlog, and then 20%, the remaining 20% is being put towards new orders. So who knows? I mean, there's really no telling on this. This is part of what I hope their New Year's resolutions that they put out, which, whatever. I really hope that part of them pulling back the curtain is, I really wish they would just put out a flipping number that says, hey, here's how many cards we have. We got 10 million cards in our backlog. 8 million of them is backlog. 2 million of them is regular, new submissions, new orders. And I wish they would do this kind of work for us, where they say, hey, we did 200,000 cards this week. 180,000 of them were backlog cards, and then the other 20,000 were new orders. I wish they would do that, but they don't. And I hope that part of their pulling back the curtain New Year's resolution that they put out is actually giving us more information on these numbers. And it just sucks that I have to go dig through it, and it's still, even for as much as I dig through and pull numbers off of their website, it's still just their narrative, and it doesn't really matter. So it's the best that we can do at this point, because we really don't know what their backlog is, and we really don't know how much of their capacity they're putting towards old orders versus new orders. So we just kind of have to take it at face value. But anyway, 167,000 this week, which is on average with with 160,000 6-week average. Not really much else to talk about there, other than I hope they continue to crank out cards at a rate that is higher than what they're bringing in cards, because otherwise they're just in the same spot. So thank you guys, as always, for watching. I appreciate it. Share this with your Facebook groups, with your friends, you're in the hobby and all that stuff. I would appreciate it. A lot of people find really a lot of value in this. So I appreciate those of you that have been watching from the beginning. I'll continue to do it as long as you guys continue to find value in it. So as always, I appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Peace.